Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hi, good to see you all. Okay, it is Tuesday, March 17th. It's 10 a.m. We have Sheriff Cassie, our assessor this morning, is going to offer the Pledge of Allegiance. And then after that, we have something a little different today. We have Rajan Zed, and he is president of the Universal Society of Hinduism. He will be offering the invocation right after the pledge, sir. You just come up to the podium and do that. So if you will, let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Starting with Gayatri Mantra, which is considered the most sacred mantra of Hinduism, I shall be reading from ancient Hindu scriptures, some as old as 1500 BCE, and then interpret in English. Om Bhur-bhuvah Svah Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. We meditate on the transcendental glory of the Deity Supreme, who is inside the heart of the earth, inside the life of the sky, and inside the soul of the heaven. May He stimulate and illuminate our minds. Astoma Sadgamya Tamsoma Jyotirgamya Mrityor Mamratam Gamya. Lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, lead us from death to immortality. Tasmada Sakta Statam Karyam Karma Samachara Sakto Hyacharan Karma Parmapnoti Purusha Karma Nevahi Samsiddhi Masita Jankadya Loka Sangreha Mevapi Sampashankar Tumrahasi. Strive constantly to serve the welfare of the world. By devotion to selfless, one attains the supreme goal of life. Do your work with the welfare of others always in mind. Om Saha Navavatu, Saha No Bunaktu, Saha Viryan Karba Bahai, Tejasvi Navaditamastu, Ma Vidvisa Bahai. May we be protected together, may we be nourished together, may we work together with great vigor, may our study be enlightening, may no obstacle arise between us. Samni va kuti, samna hridyani va, samnamastu vo mano, yatha va susahasti. United your resolve, united your hearts, may your spirits be at one, that you may long together dwell in unity and concord. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om. Thank you.
Thank you. You can be seated. Thank you, Rajan.
Thank you for having me.
All right, our first agenda item is a presentation, 2A. And that is a public hearing, public recognition of one employee to the county spotlight of employees. I'm glad to see we're doing that. And it's with regard to Kaylee Lathrop. And hello, good morning, Larissa.
Good morning. Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. Thank you for having me here. Today we're going to be spotlighting Kaylee Lathrop. Kaylee has been with the Gila County for nearly 5 years. She was first hired with Public Health as a communicable disease specialist and has been promoted to her current role as a Public Health and Grants and Programs Manager. Josh Beck nominated Kaylee for her quality and initiative. This is what he wrote in his nomination email. I respectfully submit this nomination of Kaylee for a Spotlight Award in recognition for her sustained performance and results in securing external funding for Gila County for over the past 4 years. For local governments, competitive grants are an essential tool for delivering services, maintaining infrastructure, and addressing emerging needs without placing additional pressure on local taxpayers. Successfully pursuing these funds requires technical expertise, regulatory knowledge, and the ability to align local priorities with highly competitive state and federal criteria. Kaylee has consistently demonstrated these skills at a high level. During the past 4 years, Kaylee has led or significantly supported the successful award of more than $11.4 million in competitive federal and funding grants, supporting public health programs, housing safety, transportation and pedestrian safety, youth engagement, environmental health, and substance use prevention. These grants have expanded services, improved safety and infrastructure, and addressed documented community needs across the county, particularly in rural and high-need areas. Notably, Kaylee's record of success is exceptional. Of 11 major grant applications submitted during this period, 10 were awarded, an achievement that reflects both the quality of her work and her deep understanding of competitive funding environments. This level of success is uncommon in the public sector of grant development and demonstrates consistent excellence over time rather than isolated outcomes. Grant development is complex, deadline-driven work that requires sustained coordination across departments and external partners. Kaylee manages these demands with professionalism and attention to detail, ensuring applications meet compliance standards and are positioned for long-term implementation. Her work has directly increased the county's service capacity without increasing local tax burden. In addition to programmatic benefits, these grants have generated a measurable fiscal return to the county. Through the county's standard 10% indirect cost recovery, Kaylee's grant awards have returned approximately $1.14 million to the general fund, providing flexible revenue to support core county operations. Based on her performance, professionalism, and demonstrated value to the organization, I fully endorse this nomination and strongly recommend Kaylee for a Spotlight Award.
Wow, we need several of her.
Yeah.
That's really great. You better get up here, Kaylee.
Thank you. All I want to say is I'm just really, really grateful to Gila County, to our department, to Josh, to Michael, to Paula, for allowing me to use my skills to help our community, because I really, really love writing grants and I really, really love helping people. So I'm grateful. Thank you.
Sounds like you do. Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, Haley, thank you very, very much for all you do for us. And so we're proud to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Supervisor Klein.
Hey, thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
job.
sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Kaylee. Yeah, outstanding work. So thanks for the spotlight.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right. I've always thought that Gila County does have an extraordinary amount of great people working with us. So we have a public hearing now, item 3A. It's information, discussion, and action to adopt the updated fee schedule for the Gila County Public Fiduciary Office effective April 1st, 2026. Tiffany.
Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Supervisors. You have before you the updated fee schedule for the Public Fiduciary's Office. Once it gets approved by the board, we will also submit it to the Superior Court Judge, Judge Wright, and then we'll be able to put it to effect.
Thank you. Any questions, Supervisor Humphrey?
I have no questions.
Supervisor Klein?
I'm good. Thank you, Tiffany.
Yeah, I'm good too. Is the rates gone up? Is it a little bit more?
Yes, the last time we did this was 2013,
Okay,
so it was
so there's
time.
been an appropriate adjustment. Okay,
Yes.
great. So I'll close this discussion, open it to the public hearing portion. Is anyone in Payson up there would like to speak to this item? No. Thank you. All right, thank you, Cassandra. No one's in front. Okay. How about here in Globe? Anyone? No? Then I'll close the public hearing and call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the update fee schedule for the Gila County Public Fiduciary Office effective April 1st, 2026.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was easy. All right, item 4A as our regular agenda items, information, discussion, action to approve an economic development agreement number 20260216 between Gila County and the Rim Country Camera Club Incorporated in the amount of $3,000 to purchase a used trailer, which the board is determined to be for the benefit of the public. This is my item. This money will be my constituent funds. Today we have with us Carl Jelstrom. He is currently the Are you the chairman or the president? I think it's the president of the board of directors. And could you speak to us, Carl, just about the benefits of having this trailer and why this is beneficial for the club and also the public?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and board for hearing us today. The Camera Club was established in 2013 and continued to grow. And 2020, we incorporated the Rim Country Camera Club as a 501c3 organization. Our mission centers around education, charity giving, and of course, photography. In education, we reach out not only to the community, but also the schools. And for example, this board seeded a program we call Cameras for Kids about 3 or 4 years ago, and we were able to furnish cameras to the middle school where they incorporated photography in their regular program. We've had hundreds of students go through that educational program. And we also host workshops around Gila County. For example, we have workshops in Globe where we lace out the old historic jail and the train station. And the next one will be down in Rye, Arizona at Callan Ranch. Our charitable giving reaches out to annually nonprofit organizations in Gila County to the tune of $5,000 to $7,000 annually. We also provide funding for scholarships to the excuse me, my voice and the allergies is getting Gila Community College. So as the club has grown, we've acquired and amassed various equipment, tables and chairs, and pop-up awnings, educational materials, pamphlets, easels, and this equipment is currently being stored at 3 or 4 different locations or members' homes. What we would like to do is consolidate the storage of this equipment to where we can be readily available to respond to and participate in community events around Gila County. Our solution was to purchase a small cargo trailer, whereas all our equipment could be stored in one location, and the equipment and supplies will be readily available to just hook up and go to various locations throughout the community and the county. Hence the club's request for this funding.
Thank you, Carl. And just to let everyone know, I'm actually on the board of the Camera Club myself. So Supervisor Humphrey, anything?
I have nothing.
Okay, Supervisor Klein?
So Steve, this is an enclosed trailer?
Yes, it's about a 10-foot single axle enclosed trailer that they've already purchased. This is sort of a reimbursement.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And like I said, it gets, there's about 4 or 5 members that have this stuff in their garages everywhere. So it just consolidates everything to make the work more. I know it sounds like a club, it sounds like cameras only, but there's education involved and there's also charity work that's done, so.
Okay.
Yeah. If there's no other questions, then I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to approve Economic Development Agreement Number 2026-0216 with Rim Country Camera Club Incorporated as presented, and which the board has determined to be for the benefit of the public.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 And I will abstain simply because I'm on the board and I don't want anything to look funky that way. So thank you very much. Motion passed. Thank you, Carl, for coming.
Thank you, Board of Supervisors, for your
Yep, thank you. All right, item 4B, as information discussion action to approve or deny a petition of redemption of exemption waiver from Payson Senior Center Incorporated, petitioning to have the property tax exemption on parcel 304-56013 that is deemed waived by ARS 42-11153A, redeemed for tax year 2025. Good morning, Ms. Assessor.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Supervisors. This is the final petition for the 2025 tax year. It is for the Payson Senior Center. They moved from Main Street and Payson over to near the high school, and they just regime change neglected to get their application in on time, because anytime a nonprofit brings on new property, they have to reapply and bring that that property on board. So this is to redeem their exemption for the second half of 2025. They'll have to pay the first half because they missed the window on that, but this is to refund them for the taxes that they already paid.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, they've just changed properties?
They just changed
Okay,
properties. Yes, sir.
what is the tax exemption on the property that they left?
Oh. I know that this one is gonna be about a $400 reimbursement, and I'm sorry, I don't have the number on the
Yeah,
previous
no, that's
one.
fine, but remember, I'm the one that I think it ought to be $1 and not just waived. And so if you leave a trail behind you of waived property taxes and it never gets put back in the system, then that property can come without an owner, which I've had issues with. And so, yeah, my question was, what status is the property that they left?
The property that they left, the exemption has been removed, so it is now a taxable property.
Okay, okay, thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
that was the question,
Okay,
just
Sure.
asked and answered, thank you.
Supervisor Klein.
I'm good, Sheriff, thank you.
So, Sheriff, the property on Main Street, which I'm familiar with, is back on the tax rolls as a regular piece of property non-exempt.
correct.
Okay.
Until such time
But so
that
they're
it-
no
I'm sorry.
longer using it. They're
Correct.
out of there completely. Okay.
Correct.
Have they sold it? Do you know that, or?
I do not know that.
No, I don't think they have. Okay. So thank you for that. All right. With that, I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve a petition of redemption for exemption waiver for Payson Senior Center Incorporated for tax year 2025.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Nay.
Okay. Motion passes 2-1.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and item 4C, information discussion action to adopt revised policy number BOS FIN 116, public safety personnel personal retirement system funding to reflect the updated actuarial valuation as of June 30th, 2025, and instruct staff to take action as directed by the Board of Directors, Board of Supervisors pertaining to the unfunded actuarial accrued liability amount of $375,263 in the Sheriff's Office 112 Trust Fund. Good morning, Maren.
Good morning, Chairman Christensen, Vice Chair Humphrey, Supervisor Klein. Annually, we are charged by statute to bring this policy to you for update. We are seeing a shortfall in one of the three funds in the amount Chairman stated, $375,263. We are here today to seek your preference on which approach you'd like us to take. The three approaches are listed in the conclusion portion of this agenda item. The first choice, and there's no preference order to these are just listed. Item A says fund the unfunded actuarial accrued liability, $375,263. Item B says wait to see whether the current fiscal year's performance affects the unfunded actuarial accrued liability, or item C is to fund an amount larger than the amount in item A. Mr. Menlove and I met with the PSPRS board chair Clark Partridge. For a considerable length of time, Mr. Partridge was unable to explain to us what precipitated this $375,000 shortfall. So that's why we're not bringing you a recommended course of action. We are asking your preference as far as a course of action.
Thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
This has been kind of a volleyball deal. Sometimes we're over, sometimes we're under. Is that
That's very
correct?
correct, sir, yes.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of the way that it was explained to me, so I would like to wait to see where it comes out rather than give the money and then be twice as much over as we were, so.
Thank you.
That's my 2 cents.
Would you
Thank
like me, I'm sorry, Supervisor, would you like me to quantify what that amount last year, the other direction was?
Yes,
that,
please,
okay.
that would be fine.
So just for the record, last year, this same fund had an excess of $502,057. So it swung more than $800,000 the other way, and PSPRS cannot explain it to us. I'm sorry, I wish I had more detail for you and could say, oh, it was this. We asked and we badgered, and we're probably on their bad list for asking so many questions, but we wanted more information for you.
Yeah, I can understand you wanting to ask more questions, because now everybody wants to ask more questions.
Yeah.
$1 million change is a lot of change, so, yeah, like I said, if it swings that much, rather than give them money, my preference would be just to wait, but.
Okay. Supervisor Klein.
$800,000 is a lot of money. And so, and with the fact that they can't explain it, it makes me worry. You know, we've had a good director or whatever in there for the last quite a few years, and we never had an issue. So I'm really curious as to why now. And, you know, and for us, you know, we went way out of our way and picked up a bond to pay all this for Gila County. And so, how long do you think it's going to take for them to be able to give you an answer, Maren?
They said they won't be able to give us an answer. It's on the report under a category of other, and when we asked what constitutes other, they basically told us it was mathematical, and there's not a list of things that go in it, which displeased the two of us as much as it's causing you consternation right now, because when we have an other category, we have a list of things that comprise that category, and that's all three of you and your constituents expect that when we aggregate something like that, we can explain it. And we were very frustrated, and still are.
James, who do you talk to down there to get this straight? Obviously that board isn't gonna do it, so who do we go to next?
As Maren referenced to Clark Partridge, he's been with the PSPRS program for decades, forever, and knows it as good as anybody. I believe that what it is in the actuarial determinations, where it's mathematicians that are determining likelihoods and probabilities and this and that. So pinpointing an actuarial determination is what has been spoken to us extremely difficult, and they cannot provide an explanation because of the actuarial probabilities, likelihoods, and all their assumptions that they use in that actuarial determination. I believe that we've gone to the person that is best to know the answer and did not get one.
That's a little worrisome for a small county. I mean, if we can swing $800,000 in a year's time to the negative, where are we headed from there? That's the question I have.
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Klein, that's why in these long-term projections that actuarials are doing, because this is something of what is the cost of public safety personnel retirement over the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And why is my belief that not panicking and letting this ride out this year is our best course of action. Because it could very easily reverse and be a $600,000 swing to the good next year.
But what if it's not?
If it's not, it's a gamble with crystal ball looking into the future. And
So I don't disagree with Supervisor Humphrey on wanting to wait and see where it actually balances out. But I have a little bit of worry about that. You know, we got 375 now, but what if all of a sudden we're 600,000 in the hole? You know what I'm saying? And especially when you're sitting there telling me that there really isn't nobody else or whatever to ask to see what the actual issue is.
that's a risk.
And if I may, Supervisor, we do have to bring this back to you annually when the new actuarial reports come out. And the statute states that, that we have to have a policy about getting to 100% funding, right? We're not required to achieve 100% funding. And last year we were at 101.98% funding in this fund. So there's no penalty for waiting.
Other than it could possibly be more money.
It
So
could.
when's that date gonna happen, Aaron?
The reports usually come out in December for June. So the fiscal year will end June 30th. We expect to see the report December. Hopefully next year we won't have to navigate for a couple months to try to get answers. But last year we were before you in February. So you can expect us in February or March again next year for this.
So if we decide to go with B on this and wait, are you gonna take the $375 and put it in a line item and hold it? So in December, if it comes out again and we owe more than that, at least we got part of it set aside, or how are you gonna do that?
We can do that if you'd like for next fiscal year and have a reserve amount of the 375.
If we pay the $375 now and go that route, and it comes out that's balanced, then we just have that much more credit in our account, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Where are we standing financially to be able to pay the $375?
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Klein, as we've related that the resources are tight, particularly with the flooding, that's our highest priority is to address the flooding, and as we've had discussions a couple of times. And so resources are extremely tight across the board. And particularly if in first meeting in April, we had the discussion of potentially bonding for over $18 million, that debt service would be over $2 million annually. And we're putting that into the budget means we have to be very cautious and very guarded with all of our resources.
Otherwise, what would you do? Just go on a wing and a prayer that it balances out in December and we're good? I mean, if we don't put a line item in there for the 375 now, I mean, how is that gonna work? I mean, we could very possibly have to pay it later or pay more or pay less. Who knows if what I'm understanding, but
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Klein, again, it's hard to predict the future. I believe that we addressed it so that these smaller changes fluctuate good and bad, that we are better able to address them because you as a board took action to fund our unfunded liability with the pensions. And because of that, this gives us more of an ability, the county more of an ability to address it depending on what fluctuations there are in the future. We had a $13, $15 million issue that was addressed through the bond. It's a time certain. We are paying that off, and actually it's getting to the point where we are saving actual cash dollars from what the liability on that unfunded liability was, or the payment would be. And so it's growing each year on up into, in 10, 12 years, we'll be saving over $1 million those last few years.
Yeah, I know, I know how that came out, but I don't understand this. I just really don't. I mean, you know, to have a $200,000 or $300,000 difference, I guess I could see, but when you said 800,000, that's an eye opener in a year's time. And so, you know, part of me says to wait, like Supervisor Humphrey suggesting, but part of me is also saying pay it and we'll take the credits at the end of December next year if they owe us credit. If they don't, we're already $375 that much further ahead. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you know what, James, this is another thing that when it comes to us three, this is something that's really hard to explain to our constituents. You know, these folks that are sitting here today are getting to hear the whole thing, and the ones on YouTube are, but when we have town halls and things like that, this is not something that's easy to explain, or they look at us stupid when we tell them we don't know what caused it. It's your tax dollars, but we don't know what caused it. I don't get it. I just really don't get it.
Mr. Chairman, I might recommend then that if we have representation from PSPRS come or participate in a board meeting that you may ask them the questions you have. We have attempted that and obviously have not been successful in getting the answers that you want or that we want. And that's the next possible thing, is to put this off until we can have somebody from the Public Safety Personnel Retirement System come and participate in a board meeting, and that you can ask the questions.
I'm good with that. Somebody needs to answer this question. I feel like, that's my opinion, but for that amount of money, somebody needs to be coming up with the reason why that's the case.
Okay, so if we were to make an action decision today on this, instead of putting it off, we could still have PSPRS come and give us a report, right?
We can ask that.
So we could elect to do, select item B, in other words, put it off for now, make that decision, and then later decide after we have a work session or whatever with PSPRS, and that should satisfy all our questions. To me, it's a bit insulting to ask why, and they say we don't know why. Just say voodoo, you know. The Ouija board didn't work this year, whatever. But to have this amount of money and fluctuate without an explanation, we pay into this every year, right?
Correct.
So what they're saying is they punch a button on a computer and it came up $800,000 less with no explanation, and we're paying our fees.
Yes,
That
sir.
doesn't make sense at all. So anyway, we need to have those questions answered. I agree that we should wait instead of pay for it now, because money is tight right now. There's no sense in paying it until we have to. So with all of that, we've all had our input. Is there any other discussion? I'll call for a motion, and we can do whatever the motion, just whoever wants to say motion can say it the way they want.
Well, it's my turn. Just put it in my lap.
Okay?
Okay. Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to adapt revised policy number BOS FIN-116 and instruct staff to take the B action as directed. Oh, Lord, I want to say more than that, but that's good. I'm good with that.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to adopt item B, which is a wait-and-see attitude. Those in favor of that say aye.
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 Nay.
Nay. We have two and a nay from Supervisor Klein, but also instruct staff to put together a work session with this group of people. We want some answers, not some like we don't know. Thank you, Maren.
I
You work so
appreciate
hard to
all
make
of
this
you.
all- You work so hard to make this all work, and then to have this, and so it's okay to be a little annoying to the people that are doing that. So, thank you for what you do.
Thank you, all three of you, for your input. We appreciate being able to come to you with challenges like this
Okay,
and have a good conversation. Thank you.
great.
Thank you, Marion.
All right, now let's get to item D. 4D is information discussion action to adopt resolution number 260303, granting a utility easement on county property, parcel 301081168, for public purposes to Arizona Public Service. And this is an item that if we want to pass it, will require unanimous consent. And with us today, by the way, if we need to consult legal or go into an executive session, we have Macy Hamlin with us today to help us through that process. So, Tom, take it away.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and board members. So this is a request for the board to consider granting APS a utility easement on the parcel 30108-140B. This is up in Strawberry along Fossil Creek Road. So the background on this is that the Pine Strawberry Water Improvement District has been constructing a new well to serve the community up there in Strawberry, and they are at the point where they're ready to bring power to it. And so, as the picture shows, at the back of this lot, there's a existing APS pole, and APS needs to hook a new line to this pole, and so they need this utility easement in order to do that. The language in the APS agreement states that if we ever have to have this relocated, this pole or this line, it'll be at the expense of the county. And that is not what our franchise agreement stipulates. So this is in, what do they say? It's not in agreement with our franchise agreement. And so we're bringing to you this consideration to grant this easement, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, and we also have with us a representative from the Pine Strawberry Water Improvement District, Paul Hendricks, right? And Hendricks is with us today if we have any questions for him. And do we have any representatives from the APS here? No. Okay. Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, I guess my first question is, why were we not contacted for an easement prior to drilling a well? Knowing that you would need that easement at some point in time, that seems to put a lot of money out in drilling a well, and then hoping that we give an easement for power, is a question that I have off the get-go, but I do believe I would have some questions of our attorney. When we get finished, I may ask to adjourn to a meeting where we can see what our legal obligations are.
Okay. Mr. Hendricks, would you like to answer the question about why this easement was not secured earlier?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. It's a pleasure to be here today. And this project is a long-term project, several years in the making. And we entered into an agreement with APS well over a year ago, year and a half ago. So your question is an excellent question. We asked APS, what do we need from this, because it's their project, to extend the line. And they said, well, we just need a couple of easements. And so we went and got all the easements from the well site up the hill down to this location. They then finally came out and did a survey of exactly where the line needed to go and determined that there was 46 feet of area down the creek bed that was included in the county property. There's an existing pole there. There's an existing single-phase wire that comes off that pole and goes across this same county property. I don't think any of us could find a previous easement that had been granted. So the single-phase line comes down and they replace it with a three-phase line. But because they're changing the line from single-phase to three, same location virtually, moves a little bit, but it's on the side of the creek bed. Their requirement was that they need an easement. And the easement, as I understand it, says if the county wants that wire moved for county purposes, that would be at a risk to the county for that cost. Our view is there's very, very low indication that would ever be a request, because all that big power line runs in the same location on the county property.
Thank you.
This project is vital to the community for water and also provides a better power supply to the community in general. The district has paid all of the fees so far associated with this improvement, even though it's an improvement into the community for better power. So we really hope that we can get concurrence.
All right, Supervisor Klein.
So what property is this that we're talking about that belongs to the county?
So this is right along Fossil Creek Road. We, you can see the lot there. The maintenance guys will park equipment there quite a bit. There's a row of mailboxes there, cluster boxes, right there next to Fossil Creek. We put up a chain link fence both in the front and back on the creek side. A couple years ago, we were going to put gates, but ended up not putting gates to keep our equipment secure in there, so you can kind of see the chain link fence. But yeah, that's kind of where this property is.
And how big of a parcel is this that we own?
I'd say it's maybe 1/4 of an acre.
And so what I understood Mr. Hendricks to say is the power line that's there now comes off and comes up the side of the creek, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And so where does it go?
It's an existing line that's been there from back in the 40s.
It runs along Fossil Creek.
It runs along Fossil Creek.
So it goes to other residences or whatever?
Yes.
It's
It would-
3 phases. They need the 3 phase out of that power pole.
Yes.
And everything else is,
To go to this well?
yes.
And we're only talking 1/4 of an acre that's actually counties?
Yes. And that's just my estimate, 1/4 of an
Oh,
acre.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it is county property.
And so, where in the discussions, Mr. Hendricks, maybe you could help me with this too, did APS come up with the idea that if we ever want to move that line, it would be up to the responsibility of the county? Is that just because we own the property that it's going across, the 46 feet or whatever?
Mr. Chairman, Board, my understanding is that the franchise agreement covers right-of-way, public right-of-way area. It does not cover any private property. We went and got all the easements for the other private property. When the survey was done, they discovered, and if I may, I'd like to point to the aerial. So, the pole is back here. Here's your fence along here, and then this is the creek that run right down through here. The current line runs over here to provide power to a little well and community. That line will go away, and a new line will just go over here where it is in the right of way and then go on up there. Is that more clear?
So
It's only
Supervisor,
46 feet of down the creek.
if I could,
Please do.
help explain a little bit. So there's actually 2 poles on this property. The one pole we're talking about is the larger pole
Yes.
that is placed close to the creek, outside of our fenced area, okay?
Yes, sir.
So we're not using that area because it is the creek,
Correct.
and the easement will be from that pole across the creek. Even though we own the creek, we're not. So the easement is not in a location where it's a usable portion of the property.
Yes, sir, that's
Would you say that?
Yes.
Okay. And they need three-phase, not single-phase, and that's where they're gonna grab it. And so if we grant this easement, even though our legal staff is saying, you know, we don't like the way it's worded, what is the likelihood of us ever having to change that or move it?
It's pretty slim from what everybody I've talked to said the likelihood is very slim. that
So
would ever-
I spoke with some APS representatives, and they said that this is a standard language when it comes to an easement versus a right-of-way.
Yes, sir.
That if it's an easement granted by a property owner, it's standard language to say if you want it changed, moved, or otherwise, you're paying for that.
Yes.
Okay. Sir, did you have something you wanted to add to this?
I was the one actually working on this, so I'm able to answer a bunch of questions. The standard language in APS for private property owners doesn't even include the
Your name?
ability to force it to be moved.
Introduce yourself again.
My name is Sam Kitchen. I'm one of the surveyors here. So I
Okay.
did the review of this survey for this and got involved in it. Been here about a year and a half, so that's why I'm not recognizable. But standard language for APS easements doesn't allow them to force APS to move it, no matter who's paying for it. This is specific for government agencies. They have this boilerplate language, which stipulates that us as a government can require them to move the easement and move the facilities, but at our cost. So we have to pay for the new location, grant them a new easement. If APS needs to move the easement, the bill is on APS, obviously, but that has been a question that's come up as well. Does that answer your question? Mr. Klein, the main line that goes through there basically runs east and west. I believe it was connected with the Child's power plant down at the river. It's been there long before Strawberry was ever affected. I don't even know if there was a road at the time. The language was from, I believe, 1948. They've since upgraded it. The poles we're talking about are steel self-supporters. There is no pole that runs along the right-of-way that's adjacent to Fossil Creek Road there. Otherwise, they'd connect to that, and we wouldn't have any issues. The alternative to granting this would be that we have to go to redesign, and the improvement district has to place a pole in the right-of-way, which is quoted minimum of $80,000 to not grant this easement. If Gila County does have an issue with any of those lines in the future, we're going to have this paying for the lines that are there anyway. So we're already encumbering the property by having the existing easement. This little easement is very minimal, and I don't think it's going to change any of our financial burden ever. Does that make sense?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
One last question for Mr. Hendricks. Why this property versus another property along that same line?
That was the design from APS to be the most efficient, and because the existing line, single-phase line, was going to go away, they felt that the most efficient for the public would be to connect right there at that big steel pole.
Okay. All right, thank you. And I also saw some people up in Payson. I think there's about 3 people up in Payson that support the decision to provide power, because it does mean water. We want you to solve your water issues. Supervisor Humphrey, one last chance to
Yeah, so it
request a
yeah, no, I probably won't ask for an executive session. But so this is probably gonna service electrical to individuals as well as the well?
My understanding is it's just for the well, but Paul,
Because the single-phase line is going away, part of the project that the district is paying for, the water district is paying for, is to run new line and open up the value of the property on the other side of the creek that the current single-phase line goes over. They can't build underneath it, so they're happy about it, that it would go out onto the right-of-way so they could develop their property. So it serves the community, our existing well, and then provides.
And future growth.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It would be nice if that worded that the future growth could help us if we ever needed to move that for supplying them new power. But, okay, yeah, I was kind of looking for the hook, and so there it is, so, thank you. I'm pretty much good, because it's creating infrastructure.
Well, not only that, but I can imagine that some of the properties, if they wanted to access three-phase power, it's now right there to do that. And that's important for some people. Supervisor Klein, any last words?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, so this is going to require unanimous decision if we choose to vote for it, so I will call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt resolution number 26-03-03.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
On behalf of the community and the district, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We'll have you up to have a drink of water.
Mr. Hendricks, how many gallons per minute is that well going to be able to produce?
Mr. Chairman and Board, we think that it's over 200 gallons a minute. We're putting a pump in right now that's 100 gallons a minute, and we've invested in the backbone of that facility to be able to make it further. The great thing about this is that it is a deep well, and all the other wells, virtually all the other wells that Pine Strawberry has are shallow wells and subject to
Inconsistent.
problems. Yes, so it's a big thing for the community.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad that's working out. Thank you. All right. Excellent. Let's move on to 4E, information, discussion, action to approve amendment number 3 to the master services agreement with Amerigus Healthcare Staffing Incorporated for jail and nursing staff, exercising the 1-year renewal option for the February 24th, 2026 through February 20th, 2027 term, and increasing the not to exceed compensation amount by $45,000 for a total not to exceed renewal term amount of $200,000. And we have Officer Fulton with us.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The $45,000 increase will allow me to get contract nurses from Amerigus Healthcare to fill until we can come up with a final solution for the shortage I have for nursing.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Humphrey?
No questions.
Supervisor Klein?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. I'm good as well. Call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to approve amendment number 3 to the master services agreement with Amerigus Healthcare Staffing Incorporated as presented.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Item 4F is information, discussion, action to approve service contract number 010826, Globe Detention Plumbing Services and Repairs with EarthQuest LLC, doing business as EarthQuest Plumbing. And the amount not to exceed $55,199.75 for the term of February 1st, 2026 through January 31st, 2027. Officer Fulton.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I've been fighting with the plumbing at the jail for the last 3 years. I've got multiple showers, sinks, and toilets that do not work. I've got a housing unit in the annex, which is A and B, which houses 30 individuals on each side. Currently, I have 1 shower, 1 toilet that work, and a sink that doesn't shut off. This unit mirrors annex A and B. I had EarthQuest come down, look at it. They do most of the major plumbing there. I walked them through the facility. They're telling me that because in 2019 we switched to an Icon system instead of a pneumatic system. With the Icon system, it's a standalone, it's electrical, based on the water and stuff, it plugs everything up. The pneumatic system, which is what the rest of the jail runs on, functions. They're telling me that if they replace that system in the annex, that I shouldn't have any more problems out there, and I'll be able to have, there's 3 showers on each side, so instead of having 30 inmates rotate through 1 shower, 1 toilet, they can fix all 3 toilets, they can fix all 3 showers. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, I was reading in here, doesn't EarthQuest already have a, an on-call for the sheriff's department?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is an additional, on-call service deal
Yes, sir.
from February 26th, so that will just be a double service deal? Because also in this $55,000, he was gonna do some repairs to sinks and shower panels and things of that nature, which I don't know what the other agreement consists of, whether it's emergency plumbing and doesn't allow any repair.
It's basically emergency plumbing.
Okay, and so this
This is
one
I'm
will
sorry.
do repairs at not over that $55,000?
Could you rephrase that one more time?
Okay, it says, the purpose contract provides for plumbing services and targeted repairs at the Globe Detention Center, including replacement of deteriorated shower panels, sink control, and valves, repairs two urinals, and clears the shower drain lines. These services are intended to stabilize critical plumbing system. And then it goes on to say that, he already holds an on-call plumbing. And then I think it said in there that he's willing to bid these repairs. So I was kind of confused of whether this is just another service contract or whether it includes the repairs that are required.
It includes the repairs that are required.
Okay, so this 55 is not only a service repair, but it's also for doing showers and urinals and things
Yes.
of that nature. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Supervisor Klein.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, with that, I'll call for motion.
Okay, let me turn the page. I move to approve service contract number 010826 with EarthQuest LLC DBA EarthQuest Plumbing as presented.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Okay, motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you
very
very
much. All right. I don't see David here today. We've got Matt though, right? All right. Item 4G, information, discussion, action to approve contract number 01723 CAT-GC1 with Empire Southwest LLC for the purchase of one 2025 motor grader for a contract amount not to exceed $366,326. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, supervisors, Chairman Christensen. Appreciate the time. As you mentioned, David LaForge is our general services manager. He's out on vacation this week, so I'm filling in for him. This purchase that we have is to acquire a new motor grader. As part of that, we have a trade-in package where we have 4 additional pieces of equipment that we're trading in. The 4 pieces that we're trading in are from 1983, 1984, 1993, and 1994. The items that we're trading in are well beyond their service life. We're finding it difficult to get the parts for them, so we're trading those into the Empire Caterpillar. All total, we have a trade-in value of our 4 pieces of equipment that we're trading in for $64,500. That's being marked off the purchase price of the new grader that we have. The grader that we're procuring is larger than the grader that we purchased last time. And I understand that there were some concerns with the size of that. The size for this one that we're asking you to approve the purchase for is comparable to the older ones that we have, the 1983, 1984 graders that we have. So they're well capable of doing the work that we need them to do for the machines that we have.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
No questions. Thank you for bringing that to us. I know the guys have been waiting.
Great. Supervisor Klein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Matt, thank you. I had a lot of questions because it wasn't in the agenda item when it first came out. So this helps. But I just want to ask you, when we do these trade-ins, and we've done them for years, sometimes I'm not sure I feel like we get an honest deal versus an open auction on some of this used equipment. What do you think?
That depends on this one with the with the age of the equipment that we have, particularly the pieces of equipment that are 40 years old, a lot of times we actually do get a better deal going with Empire Cat, the Empire Caterpillar facility, because they're able to rehabilitate those or restore those so that they can get a better resale value, as opposed to if we were to try and sell it on the open market or as an open surplus. There's really minimal people who would be able to purchase those and do something with them.
So when I look at this list, and I'm sure those 140G cat bladers, and Chandler can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure they've got a ton of hours on them.
They do.
How many hours does that cat IT-18F have on it?
I'm not sure, but I can certainly look into that and find out how many hours we have on it.
And Jemmer, you might want to chime in on this one, because what I understand it is this particular loader is like a smaller version of a loader. Is that correct? That we should
Yes, sir.
should have?
Yeah, that's a smaller loader that we had here in Globe, and we replaced it 2 years ago with a similar one to the same size.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the history on that was we were going to replace the loader in Young, but due to the size, Eddie, the supervisor up there, was uneasy about going down to a smaller loader. He would rather stay with the same size that he had.
Does this 18F have a lot of hours on it?
It's it's got a lot of hours on it, but it's, we still use it. We're still using it today.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thanks, Jemmer.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I'm good, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. I don't believe I have any questions. This is paid out of our HERF fund, right?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. With that, I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to approve contract number 011723 CAT GC1 with Empire Southwest LLC as presented.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to move on to item 4H, which requires a motion. I'll call for motion to recess as the Gila County Board of Supervisors and convene as the Gila County Library District Board of Directors.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Those that approve say aye.
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 Aye. Item 4H, information, discussion, action to ratify the Board of Supervisors' approval for the Gila County Library District's submittal of the Saddlebrook Community Outreach Enrichment Program application in the amount of $5,000, except the funding in the amount of $5,000 designated to Gila County for the Hayden Public Library for the period of June 1, 2026 to August 31, 2026. And we have us our new librarian, Natalie. How are you today?
Good. How are you, sir?
Very good.
Good morning, Chairman and Supervisors. We have been awarded this $5,000 grant, and this year we plan to use it to support collection development for the Hayden Public Library and some really fabulous programming for the summer reading program.
Very good. Supervisor Humphrey.
No questions.
Supervisor Klein.
Natalie, thank you. I think this is a good deal.
Okay, thank you, and I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to ratify the Board of Supervisors' approval for the Gila County Library District submittal of the Saddlebrook Community Outreach Enrichment Program application as presented.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. I'll now call for a motion to adjourn as the Gila County Library District Board of Directors and reconvene as the Gila County Board of Supervisors.
So moved.
And I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item 4I, information, discussion, action to ratify the Board of Supervisors' approval for the adoption of resolution number 260302, which authorized the Gila County Sheriff's Office to submit a grant application to the Arizona State Parks of Trails Off-Highway Vehicle Grant Program and approve of the $153,580 grant award for the OHV program enhancements, including vehicle upgrades, overtime patrol enforcement, public education, and equipment. Good morning. We have James Leahy. Lottie.
Yes,
Lottie.
yes, Lottie, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Klein, Supervisor Humphrey. Basically, this is something that the Arizona Parks each year allows agencies to apply for grants to assist in the education and enforcement of off-highway vehicle laws. So this year, we've looked at one. They are offering us the $153,000 grant, as you mentioned, Mr. Chairman. That includes purchasing of a off-road vehicle, as well as marking it, getting the lighting package installation, having it marked as one of ours. That grant also includes approximately 1,040 hours of overtime patrol, which basically we'd be able to offer shifts for some of our deputies to actually go out there over and above their normal time and do this enforcement and make contact in the communities.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Humphrey?
Yeah, I think that's a great deal because we have an awful lot of off-roaders in my district. And so if we could get out there with them and kind of make sure that they're taking care of themselves and everything else, I think it'd be a good deal.
Yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Klein?
Jim, thank you. This is a good package here. So, as you know, we're the same. We have tons of side-by-siders in District 3. So.
Well, and as you know, in the Young area, we've had 2 off-highway vehicle fatalities in the last year.
So a question on the education part. How are you guys going to work that? I mean, are you going to have sessions held somewhere? Are you going to go into the schools? What are you going to do?
A lot of it would be if there's events that are going on. I know a lot of times in Young, and I know in Roosevelt as well, you have groups that'll come in, large groups. We usually get a heads up on when those groups are coming in, and we could have our deputies, along with this vehicle, make contacts there. We do get printed materials, similar to what the Governor's Office of Highway Safety does with DUI stuff. This would also provide printed materials for us to be able to hand out as we're talking with people.
Good. Thank you.
I gotta say, I don't like the OHVs. They make too much noise. They drive them 150 miles an hour. They trailer them everywhere. It's like, why would you have a vehicle you have to trailer for 100 miles so you can drive on a dirt road at 100 miles an hour? So anyway.
Mr. Chair, if I may, when you get done.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, we need to have good patrols and all of that to make the experience for everyone that wants to enjoy the outdoors, not turn it into some racetrack thing, you know. It's just drives me crazy, especially during hunting. Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, the question I have is you never see a speed limit on our Forest Service roads. What is the speed limit in the forest?
Reasonable and prudent.
Well,
so that would depend on the driver, I guess.
Yes.
And not the enforcement.
Yes, that's a debate that we have. I've actually spoken with the Forest Service as well as our own roads department to say, hey, some of these areas, what can we do to get signage put up? But as you know, to even put a post in the ground in the Forest Service areas, you've got just shy of an act of Congress to get that approval.
Yes.
So Arizona Revised Statute 28701, which is what we usually use if it's a speed-related ticket, has to do with speed, reasonable, and prudent. And that is, you know, we try and be as objective as we can. A lot of times that would be subjective to what the law enforcement officer, whether it's a forestry officer, game and fish, or one of our deputies, what they would deem reasonable and prudent. And then it's up to them to be able to articulate that to a judge if the cite's issued for that.
Yeah, because it's bad on our roads as well as dangerous to the people and, you know, livestock. And so, yeah, it would be nice in the future if we could come up with some kind of reasonable operation of off-road vehicles. Thank you.
And prudent. They've exceeded that, by the way.
Yes.
All right, with that, I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to adopt resolution number 260303.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Item 4J is information, discussion, action to approve intergovernmental agreement number DBF 2025SB 1735-SS102 between the Arizona Department of Administration and Gila County for school safety interoperability funding for fiscal year 2025-26 in the amount of $280,000 and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Yes, sir.
And this is just basically, as you know, in 2021, the board approved the acceptance of funds to implement the mutual link system. That was a sole source system. The funds that we got were paid for by a grant. So there's no matching funds at all. This is just to continue the maintenance of that system. And again, there's no matching funds required. That's funds that we would be getting to keep the maintenance, keep the equipment going.
Okay. Thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
No questions.
Supervisor Klein.
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve intergovernmental agreement number DVF 2025 SB 1735 SS 102 between the Arizona Department of Administration and Gila County for school safety interoperability funding, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents as presented.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, looks like Josh is going to finish up. Yeah, well, you're very welcome. All right, be safe out there. All right, 4K is information, discussion, action to approve grant AZLHB 0843-25 between Gila County Community Services Division Housing Services, United States Department of Housing and Urban Development to provide lead testing and abatement in 250 low-income pre-1978 housing units for the period of March 1st, 2026 through February 28th, 2030 in the amount of $4,400,000 with a county match of $421,888.91 for a total of $4,821,888.91. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, Chairman Christensen, Supervisor Klein, Supervisor Humphrey. Yeah, this one's a pretty good grant. This was one of the ones that Kaylee had reached out for and received for us. A quick caveat on this. Working with HUD, this is one of our first real like housing manager kind of grants that we've received with HUD, where it's kind of outside of what we normally do with our housing vouchers. So if you look through the paperwork on this, we did have to assign some different roles that we haven't done before in the past. So I assigned myself as the program manager for this. We had to sign an employee as the manager for the lead program, and then we had to have an authorized official that would be on every phone call that we've had so far, which has been a lot. So we assigned Mr. O'Driscoll as that authorized official for this grant. I believe we talked to administration before we did that and said that, you know, we would normally have the chairman be the signing person and the authorized official, but those would tie all of us to have to be on these calls every month for the next 4 years. So that is why we did it like that and why we added the extra signature page on this and haven't done anything with the grant, so that we could still bring this to the board and have the board accept the award, although we already have the authorized official and everything in place. So just letting the board of supervisors know that. This will pay for, as I said, we mandates us to have a program manager for the lead program. We will have an environmental health, probably another hopeful sanitarian, which would give us another sanitarian on staff to kind of help fund the program and maybe have a future worker when this grant's over. And then we'll also have a person that just does a lot of the outreach and social media and all the different things we need to do to get the people to let us into the 250, or hopefully we could do 300 or 400 homes with that money. And then, so that'll be part of it. The grant does pay a 15% indirect to the county, which is pretty good. The match portion of it was pretty easy for me, if I'm being honest. We have a facility that we rent over in Cobra Valley Plaza, I think it was called, over by Anytime Fitness, that our environmental health staff is in. We were able to use part of that funds, and then most of the rest of the match would be with my time. We had to use a little bit of Mr. O'Driscoll's time, some of Paula Horn, my deputy director's time, and honestly, we're all exempt people. That it's just more work for us doing everything we already have to do, and hence the work of grants. And I think, as you all know, why I toot Kaylee's horn, because it's not always easy to ask for all these grants, because it's just more work for us that's within the scope of what we already do, but we do these things because this is a really good grant. As far as I know, we haven't done a lot of lead testing in homes in Gila County, and this will give us a chance to do that. And if we can, like I said, if there's not a big issue. We'll be able to certify 400 or 500 homes hopefully, and if we run into issues, we'll still be able to go through and do as many homes as we can. And then kind of the last caveat to this, there is an extra if you look why it's $4 million, and then there's $400,000 also. There's $400,000 just for healthy homes, which is kind of a nice little piece of money because while they're in there doing those lead abatement grants, if they see mold or anything that we can fix with other weatherization, drafts, electrical issues, anything else while we're in there, there's $400,000 where they can actually do other work while they're in those homes as well.
Okay, great. Supervisor Humphrey.
Oh, and these are people whom qualify.
Correct.
Right. And, okay, yeah.
To be completely specific, 80% of them need to qualify. So it does leave us some wiggle room if there were homes, or even if we've discussed, if it's a home that's a grandparent that has the children, there's wiggle room in there. But yeah, for the most part, we target those children under 6 homes, or if they're with grandparents, whatever. But they do give us some wiggle room if we know of a house with somebody that needs that.
Okay, yeah. Testing is not expensive, but abatement is. So, yeah, okay. Thank you for all you do and all the juggling you do with all the grants you get with all these little name tags on them, on what you can do with them and you can't do with them. So that's amazing, and so I appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Supervisor Klein.
So Josh, when you get this grant, how are you gonna start? Are you just gonna put it out there that this is available and people will apply to you?
One of the best things that I have working for me, and we'll see how well it does, is that we have the WIC department. So
Right.
we're already working with a really good portion of people under 6 that are low income anyways, all throughout Gila County. So that's probably going to be one of our primary targets. Probably work with some of the hospitals and different things to get access to new births and those types of records so that we can get out as far as we can. I know we don't have Head Start anymore, but you know, anything we can do with daycares or anything to just kind of get out to those homes, yeah. And honestly, we have community services too, so we'll be able to work with all those clients. So hopefully the goal is we kind of already should have access to a lot of the people that we would need to reach out to.
It's gonna be a big project, but good job.
Thank you. With that, I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to approve grant AZLHB 0843-25 between Gila County Community Services Division, Housing Services, and the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Josh. We have item 4L now, information, discussion, action to approve funding agreement number 911-26 with the Arizona Department of Housing, American Rescue Plan Act, funding in the amount of $112,228 to be spent by September 30th, 2026 for weatherization projects.
Thank you, Chairman. So I feel like I come up here a lot for weatherization, and as I said, we really fund weatherization from just so many pots of money. So this one is the governor's office has been very supportive of preventing homelessness. One of the things that they were doing with their leftover ARPA money, just like everyone else is trying to farm it out to different projects. The best part about this for weatherization, I was talking with my staff this morning, is it's way more flexible than all the rest of the weatherization funds that we have. So as we were just talking about some of the rules and hoops you have to jump through, this one goes all the way to, well, there's a percent that goes to 200 and 400% of the federal poverty level that we can work on. And from what I'm told, a lot of the projects, little things that the regular weatherization money won't allow us to do, this funding will do. So it's not a whole ton of funding, but it will let us get some of those projects done. And my project manager, or the manager we have for this program, is really good at, you know, looking at, okay, I remember this project where we couldn't do that, and we've got this one coming up, and we could do this that we weren't going to be able to do. So, you know, it's a good portion of money if you've got somebody really good with organization to make sure they're getting a little bit more out of each one of the homes we normally would, rather than just doing more homes. We can fix more things we wouldn't always be able to.
Okay, Supervisor Humphrey.
And this money is attached to BPI certification?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Supervisor Klein.
I'm good.
I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to fund agreement number 911-26 with the Arizona Department of Housing, Arizona Rescue Plan Act as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item 4M is information, discussion, action to approve amendment number 2 to the intergovernmental agreement number DI 25-002432 between the Arizona Department of Economic Security, the Gila County Community Services Division, increasing the funding by $209,409.90 and revising the budget to $534,989.13, which must be fully expended by June 30th, 2026. Okay?
Thank you, Chairman. So this is funding that would have all just received all at the beginning of the year. When you see the background section, this is our 4th time we've been to the board with this funding. That's because of the federal government being the way they have been with the Community Action Program. So instead of receiving all the money in August like we typically would, we received money in August, we received money in September. We should have received money in January, but then when the shutdowns were looking like, we're just now getting our alert. So this is just the remaining of the funding that we've already been spending and would spend through the end of June for that Community Action Program for low-income energy assistance, rental assistance to prevent homelessness.
Okay, thanks. Supervisor Humphrey.
No questions.
Mr. Klein.
I guess you'll get it spent by June 30th then, huh?
We will get it spent.
Okay.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, thank you. I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve amendment number 2 to intergovernmental agreement number DI 25002432 between the Arizona Department of Economic Security and the Gila County Community Services Division as presented.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Josh. Have a great day. Consent agenda items 5A through F. Supervisor Humphrey, would you like to review one or more of those separately?
I would. I would like to B, 5B.
5B. Item 5B is approval of amendment number 2 to service contract number 051725, janitorial services for northern and southern Gila County, short term with Jana Service Incorporated, extending the term through March 2nd, 2026, with no change to the existing contract total of $179,114.85. Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, it says extend through March 2026. I'm wondering the extension. Because isn't that behind us?
Yes. So the short-term contract with Janiserve was effective through February 28th. The board approved a long-term contract. We had gone out to bid for the janitorial services, and you awarded the long-term contract to Janiserve. That was effective on March 3rd. So there was just a one-day gap of March 2nd, which was a Monday, for those janitorial services to be had. So this is strictly making sure that short-term contract brought us up to where we started the long-term contract.
Okay, and I guess the long-term contract lasts till when?
That long-term contract is on an initial term of 1 year, with the county having the option to renew for up to 3 additional years.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so what I'll do then is, since you called it out separately, we'll vote on it separately. So I need a motion on item 5B.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve amendment number 2 to service contract number 051725, janitorial services for North and Southern Gila County, short term with Janitorial Services Incorporated, extending the terms through March 2nd, 2026, with no charge to the existing contract, total $179,114.85.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve item 5B. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Any other items you'd like to discuss separately?
I'm good.
Mr. Klein?
Good.
Okay. I'll then call for the remaining the remaining items on the consent agenda to be approved. That would be items 5A, 5C, D, E, and F.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second to approve the remaining consent agenda items. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Call to the public. Cassandra? No. How many do we have? 51. Very good. Tyler, doesn't look like you have anybody up there, so we're going to move on to the Globe area. Thank you, Tyler. Anyone here that wishes to speak to us? Anyway, no. So let's move on to item 7, which is our summaries and reports. So, Manager Menlo.
Mr. Chairman, if I could take a few minutes, I do have some items. I'm going to jump into our flooding projects and just received notice this morning that the NRCS project has been approved by the federal government. Christine, if you could take a minute and come and tell us what that means and where we're at for NRCS projects. It means that I believe today the 220-day time frame that we have to get these projects done starts today. So.
Yes. Thank you, James, Chairman, members of the board. Yes, actually last night it started. We received our notice. The value of the work is estimated about $33 million. The county's portion is about $7.5 million. We are in a much better position to access these funds than the previous time with the telegraph fire, in part because we have received support from the board to start engineering and getting cost estimates in place much earlier in the process. So we're excited about this. We will be addressing issues in Sixth Street Canyon, Kellner, Ice House. We've added the hospital wall, among other issues dealing with sediment and such, and we're very, very excited. I also want to just extend thanks to Marin and her team, to J.E. Fuller, who has definitely partnered with us to get us to where we're at today, to Homero, to Tom, and everybody else that's been involved with this effort. It's truly, this is very gratifying that this finally happened, and there's been a tremendous amount of work. So we definitely have a very strong team, and we look forward to continuing to work on this. If you have any questions.
Christine. I don't know that we can discuss too much on this, but thank you for that.
Yeah, certainly reach out to myself, reach out to Christine or Homero if you want to get into the details of what this all means.
I would like very much to have a work session on these projects and kind of the plan of attack for these projects, management of these projects, because we got a lot of projects going on all at the same time and 220 days to do them. So I think it's going to be a management, and I would like to be in a work session to understand the operation.
Yep, let's do that for him, okay? For all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What else?
Thank you, Christine. Also wanted to note that Marin Belling recently completed her term as the Government Finance Officers Association of Arizona. Her term as president of that organization. Recognize her as serving and bringing recognition to Gila County in that statewide organization for government accountants. So thank you, Marin. Last week we did have 2 weeks ago, the end of the week, had a meeting for the Arizona Local Government Employee Benefit Trust. That is a trust that administers our health insurance program, health insurance for employees. There's a couple, if I could take the time, a couple of things that are going to impact employees. And so I wanted to make you aware of them as a board, that these will be communicated to our employees, but I wanted to make sure that you're aware of these changes. Anything that changes, there's going to be questions that pop up and things. First of all, the Blue Cross Blue Shield network that we are a part of has always been a state network. The Blue Cross Blue Shield organization is doing away with the state of Arizona Blue Cross Blue Shield network, and we are being transferred to a national Blue Cross Blue Shield network. So it means that actually it opens up to doctors nationwide that our employees can go to and will be in network. Being in network means that we get considerably reduced costs because they have to be in agreement with Blue Cross to be able to provide those services. There is an additional cost to the trust to go to a national, but they are Blue Cross is no longer offering the statewide option. Teledoc, because Blue Cross Blue Shield is now offering the teledoc, the remote medicine that you can call up and get a doctor, get a prescription, that kind of thing. It is included in the Blue Cross Blue Shield National Network, and so we are going to terminate the contract that we have with Teledoc, meaning that we'll have to go to new providers for Teledoc. That is part of the contract with Blue Cross, and so it did not make any sense to have duplicative efforts in Teledoc and then also Blue Cross for that phone medical services, phone or online medical services. Also, we did a bid, regularly do bids every few years regarding all the programs, all the things that we do. One of those that came up this year was for our prescription services. We will be switching from Navitus to a prescription service called Smith RX. Smith RX is, again, back to the actuaries and stuff, the anticipated savings is about $1 million. So it made total sense that we could go to Smith RX and shift from Navitus. That change will happen again on July 1st, along with changing to the Blue Cross National Network and the Teledoc services. So that all these changes are July 1st. For dental, vision, short-term disability, basic life, wellness, employee assistance programs, and employee paid voluntary benefits, there are no changes. So those will stay the same. Passive enrollment means that employees don't have to go and everyone physically touch the system, that if you want to do changes, then employees can go in and change. We will have people from Arizona Local that will come in on 2 days. In what are those dates, Sherry, that we're looking at? May 5th and 6th. So early in May, we'll have representatives north one day and here in the south one day as well. So that is some changes that we're doing. The anticipated, or again, when they came in and said, what is the changes and what are the costs and what are the things that are going on with the health industry, before we went into our annual meetings, the recommended increase to our health insurance was 17.2%. And they may have asked that much because we feel like we've had a victory of about an 8% increase. And so that's what's been approved, is an 8% increase to Gila County, about 8% increase across the board to all 6 counties that participate in the Arizona Local Government Employee Benefit Trust. And that is a cost of about $550,000 to the county. For our employees, I believe it's important that we have a contribution from employees for health care, to realize that there is a cost. For employee-only coverage, county covers 90% with a 10% coverage by the employee, and for family coverage, I believe it's about 74% that the county covers, 26% by the employee. Again, any questions, please feel free to contact. I'm glad to go over those with you. Last week, Gila Community College had a celebration, and they attended March 11th in Globe, and then on March 12th in Payson, their celebration of Back to the Future. One of the things that is important or critical from that communication that they stated that they have a visit from the accrediting agency for the community college that will be here at the end of this month in March, and that they're the board meeting to determine whether the college is granted full status. That will be early in June, and so they expect to have an answer for that. Of course, they expect the answer to be positive, but one of the things that's important is for them to get that positive and be a full board member. We need to start working with the state because, from what I understand, I haven't done the research, but that the college is entitled to about $3 million of state aid for community colleges. And so it's important to get that final determination from the community college board for full candidacy to be eligible for that $3 million from the state. I wanted to acknowledge this past weekend, March 13th, 14th, and 15th, that we did hold a high school rodeo event out at the fairgrounds, and very successful from everything that I've been told about that. So thank you I'm going to state Amber Martinez, because as far as I know, she was the one that went and made arrangements to work with the High School Rodeo Association to bring that event here. So I appreciate her efforts to fill up the county, because I don't know the exact numbers, but typically about 1,000 people travel with that event throughout the state. We did have a meeting last Friday with the CS County Supervisors Association, County Managers and Administrators. And one of the big things we talked about was data centers. And data centers, of course, require huge amounts of energy and also water for that. And wondering what counties, what they're planning and zoning and what we're doing with that. So we have not, as far as I know, have not had any inquiries. I think they're going for the low-hanging fruit and down around Kingman, where there's big tracts of flat private lands and different things. It's a little bit more challenging here with our terrain and stuff, but it's bound to come, and they are things that we need to talk about. So we'll work with Randy to include that in our planning and zoning and general use and building permits to make sure that we're covered for should we come up with a data center choosing to locate here. And down in Pima County, they had a vote of whether to allow a data center into Pima County, and it was resoundingly failed in that they don't want data centers. So they are kind of a controversial issue with planning and zoning and different things like that. And it's a partnership with the Corporation Commission on those types of things as well. Tomorrow night is the Small Counties Forum at the County Supervisors Association, which Gila County is hosting this time. And look forward to the Board of Directors meeting for CSA on Thursday. That's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Humphrey. Yeah, I also would like to very much thank staff and everybody that worked so hard on the high school rodeo. They didn't advertise it much. They didn't put a schedule out to the public, but the public was welcome to go. And believe me, there was almost no parking at the fairgrounds. There was more trucks and trailers than you can imagine. And we have like 108 stalls from the horse race stalls. And all of those were full. I had 4 horses at my place, and just about anybody around there that had a place to keep a horse, they were overflow. So the people that stayed at my place were from St. George, Utah, and so people traveled from all over to come to that event. So I want to thank the board and the county manager for helping with the improvements to the fairgrounds so that we can put on functions like this, because it's amazing the people that showed up and the politeness of the people. Even during the events, you know, the announcer would ask the participants to pick up their paper, and I've never seen an event at the fairgrounds when they left. It was almost cleaner than it was when they got there. Even they cleaned up the stalls that they used at my place. You know, it's amazing the people that follow that, and what an accomplishment it was for Gila County and the fairgrounds to have that event coming here. And so thank you all very much. And I held a Roosevelt community meeting on the 9th at 1, attended a Miami Council meeting on the 9th also, held a monthly team meeting with Department Deputy County Manager and County Manager Minlove and Marin, and we go over things that are going on in District 2, and we'd like to go on in District 2 just so I stay informed as I do public events. I know more what's going on. Attended Gila County Community College celebration on the 11th. Was on KQSS on the 16th at 5:30.
And I'll attend a meeting this afternoon to review the proposed FEMA floodplain maps, because that's interesting. And so that's about all that I have.
Thank you. Supervisor Klein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had a town hall meeting on Saturday, March 2nd, and thank you, James, for being there. It was good. Had a pretty good wad of people, somewhere around 50 attended that. And Janice Lothorn and Jan Brockert with Gila Community College was there as well, explaining what you just did. And so it was good conversation there. The rest of the conversation wasn't so good. There's a lot of issues still surrounding that community over permitting. Not a lot of answers. And so that's going to be continually ongoing here for a little while. That same day, Craig Sullivan and some of his staff came up, and they went through the Veterans Retreat Center and looked at it for the first time. And then that day we did a podcast that came out. Me and Kathy and Craig and sat down and did that, and Craig asked the questions. we answered them, but I think it came out very well, you know, from what I see of it. And then also, well, on that Facebook page when it went out, there's about 257 views, and at the same time they did another little deal that they provided a video on, and it had 1,000 views in that first day. So more and more word is getting out there, and Craig and his ladies did a really, really good job of putting all that together. Last Friday, I was here in this room with the Gila County Cattle Growers and the Farm Service Agency, and what it was FSA is going to have a person here once a month. Every month they'll be on a Friday to meet with the permittees and farmers or whoever it is on their programs and stuff. And so they're going to be right here in Terry's old office on the hallway. And they had a good turnout here. There was quite a few people that were here to ask them questions about their grants and stuff like that they have available. And so I think it's going to be a hit. Also, Director Kerr was here, Sina Kerr. She was here as well. And what they're looking at, besides helping everybody here, they want to see how it's going to be attended and how it's going to turn out, so that more places across the state can maybe have the same setup. We're kind of a pilot program is what I'm trying to say, I guess, for this. And so I think it's going to be a hit. I really do. I think right here locally that these permittees and whoever else are going to be here to participate in that, and it's going to be good. The rest of that meeting was dedicated to the lawsuit that's going on with all the permittees. Questions on that, and they're going to start working on raising some money. Gila County Cattle Growers is going to pursue intervenous status on the lawsuit, and so is Arizona Cattle Growers. Question was asked to me, is the county going to do that as well? I couldn't answer that, didn't answer that. Only thing that I could tell them was 97% of our county is public lands. And so I don't know. Maybe later in the future we can have a work session on it or whatever. But that's where it's headed right now. Nobody seems to know exactly what the impact's going to be, although there will be an impact, I'm almost sure. Tomorrow, I guess I'll be in Payson for the fire meeting, and looks like that's all set up and going to be a good deal. After that, tomorrow afternoon, I have an ECO meeting in Phoenix to be at, and then the small counties session there at CSA as well. And with us sponsoring it, that'll be a good deal. And then on Saturday, I'll be in Alamogordo, New Mexico for the Coalition of Counties annual meeting, and we'll see what turns out there. One thing that's kind of glaring right now is there's only 2 representatives from Arizona, me and Paul David from Graham County. And so maybe somewhere along the way we can start talking to these other counties like Greenlee, Cochise, some of these other ones, and see if they don't want to become a member of Coalition of Counties as well. There's always a lot of issues going on between Arizona and New Mexico, and it's a good thing to be a member of. Other than that, that's it.
Very good. Yesterday, I had my monthly KMOG program, and I invited Jan Brocker and Janice Lawthorne with Gila Community College to join me, and so we had a pretty good discussion of what direction they're going and some of the things that's challenging for them, one of which is their expenditure limitation is by far too low. They're putting forward a ballot initiative to try and remedy that. It'll be a proposition, doesn't have a number yet, but they'll leave it up to the vote of the people to raise that limitation because they're in violation every year. It's just an archaic number, and it's unfortunately they have to do this, but it won't raise taxes. It's not going to cost the public, more money. It's just allowing them to have a different limitation number. Tomorrow, our annual fire meeting at Messengers. Melissa's been vigorously putting all that together, and so look forward to that. We'll start that around 9 o'clock tomorrow. It should be a good meeting. It's not for the public. It's for public safety officials and the Forest Service and all those firefighting what do you call it? The where you clean up your yard, the firewising, thank you, yeah. It's been happening a lot lately. And so anyway, we're doing that tomorrow. And then Thursday, I think I'm meeting with you, Christine, right? On Thursday, we're gonna go over the FEMA maps and with Jeff Despain and Matt, I suppose you'll be there too. So, all right, well, I look forward to doing that on Thursday. So that's all I have. Yes, sir.
Did you want to mention Jake Garrett?
Oh, good idea.
Yes, thank you, Supervisor Klein. Jake Parrott, Jake did pass away this past Friday. Jake Garrett has been a long-standing employee of Gila County for 40 years and worked up until the day he died, essentially, that he wanted to go to pass as an employee of Gila County. He did that. He was doing work last week before he passed away Friday evening. So we honor and respect Jake Garrett and his commitment and devotion to Gila County and all the services. He was sought after and reached out to for wastewater systems from those all around the state because of his great knowledge and his great ability to work with people. Great person and great person for Gila County. So we remember and honor Jake Garrett. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that. Yeah, he's from Tono Village, so if we hear about any sort of a service, we could reach out and let everybody know. I'm sure hopefully there'll be something up in the Payson area. So, okay, great. Well, if there's nothing else, all right, then we'll adjourn. Thank you.